Thank you for joining me for another episode of Think Your Way to an Epic Life. And today's episode is really fun. I've got my executive coach, Dr. Ron Stotts, on, and we're talking about a mini series that we are starting live on YouTube on January 30th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And just to kind of get you prepared and get ready for that mini series, to understand what it is that he does as an executive coach, and give you actual tools that you can use to elevate your consciousness and make your life just a whole lot better. It's very, very interesting. I hope you find it as well. Thanks, and leave us some comments. So, Dr. Ron, you and I are creating a 4-part series. What would you say is the reason that we're doing this?
Well, I think we're both excited about what people are capable of. And rather than seeing them caught in their fear and holding back and limiting themselves, we want to encourage them to recognize their capabilities and step into and create the life that they truly want, that they're worthy of.
That sounds like a pretty good reason. I'm digging it.
I'm
So,
hoping
I
it's
So I've been working with you now as a client for about 6 months. My life has drastically changed in that 6 months. And a lot of it is because I went and looked back at childhood traumas that I had avoided all my life. Why is that so important?
if you're driving down the freeway of life and you have a couple of flat tires, ignoring them is not going to support you in enjoying your journey more fully. You've got to stop. You've got to go, oh, okay, I've got a challenge here. I've got to change these tires. And once I do that, then I can move forward and truly enjoy the journey, enjoy my life. And that's really what we're doing is we're looking back into somebody's life and going, oh, yeah, I can see these challenges that you had. I can see even why you had those challenges. And the truth is, most people, the way they handled challenges early in their life was really perfect. They did the best job they could for that age and their capabilities. But the problem is they get attached to using those same limitations and those same tools, those same ways of being as they get older when they're mature enough to really create whole new ways of looking at things. So that's really the option is, for example, people, when they're young, they're looking outside of themselves for love and acceptance, which is perfect. But as you get older, that just empowers everybody else to take control of your life. You're living your life and they're telling you who to be, how to feel, what to feel and when to feel. And you're never going to be an authentic, empowered, self-accepting human being if you're living your life that way. So you really have to begin to heal the past so you can, you go on that inner journey, that become more self-aware and heal the past so that you can become more self-accepting. Then your journey is really about looking for love within yourself, looking for that unconditional love that you wanted as a child, recognizing, oh, it's from within myself that I can find that. And that allows you, that renewed relationship, excuse me, with yourself, is mirrored in your relationships with everybody. That self-accepting, that feeling good, that confidence, that authenticity is reflected in your relationship with others. They feel safer, more connected, more trusting, more, like they can really trust who you are. And that, if you're going to become a leader in some way, for example, that allows people to be more vulnerable and open, and that creates cooperation and collaboration, and that creates greater productivity and profits. So it works.
All of those sound really good. So
Well,
one of the things that before I came and started coaching with you, that I truly believed as a coach, and it's embarrassing to say out loud, is I truly did believe that if those problems are behind you, leave them back there.
sure.
I think a lot of people would agree with me because that is a great answer because you don't have to go back and look at it.
Right. I don't blame them. I get it. Wouldn't that be nice? But if you look at your life, that's just not true. It's the past. It's all those hidden limitations. It's all that mindset, if you will, that neurological or lack of neurological development, that old training that you're at the effect of. You're reactive and you're closed down. You're not breathing. You're not feeling. You're not opening up your heart. And the truth is, if you don't open up your heart, you can't open up your mind. And if you can't open up your mind, then you can't be conscious enough to really see, experience, and react to what comes into your life in a positive and empowering way for yourself and others.
So, what would be your definition of a high conscious leader? What do you call that?
Well, just a leader who is truly conscious is one who has really gone in and become more self-aware, become more emotionally intelligent. They're able to be honest with themselves and vulnerable with others. And really they've reconnected with all aspects of themselves so that they really are an authentic, whole, self-accepting, loving being. And what that allows us to do is we become more aware of what we're thinking. We become more aware of what we're feeling. And we also become more aware of, well, how am I doing in the world? What level of consciousness am I on at any given time? And that allows us to experience life in a more present, conscious way. We're not overreacting. We're just being present with, and we're breathing, being curious and present with everything that comes into our life with an optimum ability to respond to it in an empowering way for everyone who's involved.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what someone can expect if they sign up. We're not telling you how much this is yet, guys, but if you sign if you sign up and you go to all four of these live YouTubes, which guys, we are putting ourselves out there because we've never done this before, neither one of us, and so it should be fun. Come enjoy watching our pain of doing this. But if somebody was to commit and say, okay, I'm not going to miss, I'm going to be at all four of these. What can they walk away with?
You know, I've lived by the ocean most of my life, and I see there's different ways to enter the ocean. There's the guy who just runs and belly flops and you know like a big dog out into the ocean. There's the person who kind of puts their toe in the water, then backs away and then moves forward a little bit, very cautiously. So and many in between. And so this is really a course that's designed for those people who probably like myself. I don't just go running into the water. I don't know what the temperature is. I need to. So I'm going to wade out a little ways, and it's like, oh, okay, and then I get used to that water temperature, and I wade out a little further, and then I dive into the wave and have a great time. This is their opportunity to wade into that water and get a real clear sense of what the temperature is about, how comfortable it is for them. It allows them to really begin to go, oh, this looking within myself, becoming more self-aware is actually the most exciting adventure of my entire life. That's the one thing I see in the 8-week program all the time is people come in with some level of trepidation, but within a week or two, they are like, this is so amazing because they understand themselves. They understand why they react, why they are the way they are. And they also understand how they can modify and shift that in an empowering way that handles all the negative aspects of their life, their relationships. And then, of course, within just a couple of months, they literally see that shift not only within themselves, but that new relationship with themselves, as I mentioned a moment ago, is really mirrored in your relationships with others. Sure, certainly in the work environment, everybody's getting along better, more cooperative, more productive, more you know income coming through it. But also they see it in their home. They see a new relationship with their children. They see a new relationship with their partner. I just had a client yesterday, two of them, to be honest with you, and they both were really talking about the same thing. It's like the relationships with their kids is so significantly better. They're having these conversations, and one of them wants their adult son, to come and see me. The adult son actually approached him, which was a whole nother line of connection and trust, and asked, because he had been talking about me. He said, "Well, how do I find out more about Ron? I've done all this work and it really hasn't worked. So now I think I'm ready for that." And So it's a new life, because you're not feeling alone and hiding. You're not. Fear closes you down, shuts you off, disconnects yourself from yourself and others. And without that fear, you're open. You're really enjoying. You're breathing, and you're accessing the best of who and what you are. So your capabilities shift dramatically. Life's better.
I can attest to that. Everything he's saying is absolutely been true for me. And I have also been using the techniques that you're teaching me that we're working through with my own coaching clients, and the results, guys, the results are astronomically different. It
Mhm.
is truly exciting. And as someone who had more than my fair share, in my opinion, of childhood trauma, and it was horrendous, the thought of going dealing with it, it was nowhere near as as awful as I had painted it in my head. This four-part series starts on January 30th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on YouTube. It will be live, so you'll be able to chat. You'll be able to ask us questions. It'll be very cool. And it's for the next 4 weeks, same time on Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, February 6th, February 13th, which just might make your Valentine's Day a little bit more special, and
Yeah.
February 20th. So if someone comes in and you're basically giving them a little piece of what they'll get in the 8 week course.
Yeah, I'm introducing them. They're beginning that inner journey. They're becoming more self-aware. They're becoming more emotionally aware, and that's really, they're going to understand the trauma that's holding them back, and that's a big piece. Most people, they come and I say, well, what's the biggest challenge? And it's outside. It's other people, other circumstances. And then when we point to what the commonality of all this and how it's really an inner problem, that's it's like all of a sudden they have the power. They're empowered to actually do something about it, and not just be at the effect. So understanding your trauma, what's holding you back, the power of breathing. When we when we're uncomfortable with our emotions, we stop breathing. Not completely, of course, but significantly so. It certainly affects our health and many other aspects of our consciousness and whatnot. So you're going to understand the connection between breathing and empowering yourself, breathing and connecting and being whole. And then really with that understanding, then how do you rewrite your inner, narrative? How do you shift your mindset? How do you neurologically rewire your brain for a more successful, capable life, one that's exciting and wonderful to be living? And then creating a life beyond the trauma. And that's really, of course, the exciting part. No, this dive into this is fairly tumultuous, and you've got to be willing to be in that mess for a little bit. But at the end of it, you recognize, oh, okay, that's what the problem was. This is part of how I can heal that problem. This is how I want to rewrite my narrative of my life. And okay, now let's create the life that I've truly always wanted. Everybody has that dream life. They always are thinking, gee, I wish if I only could have or would have or could. And it's like, oh, now you can. Now you literally can. I watch all of my clients do it. They finish that with a great degree of clarity of what their highest intention is life, what they want to aspire to, and they begin to create that. And as they create that, it's the life that they've always wanted, and that's so fun to watch. It really is.
Oh gosh, yes. As a fellow coach, there's nothing better than when you see that aha when they get it, when they get it. It's not that you know what they need, it's that they know what they need and you're able to pull it out of them because you're not dealing with their left logical brain. What are you dealing with?
What are they dealing with, or what am I
What are
dealing?
you dealing with them? If it's not their left logical brain, how are you able to get results? Literally, I've had more than one person say, this is better than years of therapy after just a couple sessions. Why is that? Why is it so powerful?
But when I first, this was a long, long time ago, back in the dark ages, when I first started being a therapist, It just created language. So, but I would try and guide people. I would make suggestions. I would, give them my brilliant insights as to what the problem was and what they needed to do. But all I experienced was resistance, and no, that's not it. And, because they'd be in their head, they'd be logically going, no, I don't want to look at that, or that's not it. I've already looked at that and explored it. So that resistance just didn't feel very good because I wanted to be rewarded and told that I was a wonderful therapist and all that kind of thing back then. But that wanting to rescue them, that mode that I was in at that point, is a trap in itself, and a lot of therapists are caught in that trap. And I started realizing, oh, I really just need to be a guide that helps them down in this journey into really becoming more self-aware. So I'm going to ask questions. And in asking questions, I would see them go up in their head and logically come up with answers. And I realized, yeah, but there's deeper answers that are available. How do I get them to look deeper? Oh, they're not breathing, because then they have to start feeling. So how about if I ask them questions and then they start breathing and then respond to those questions? Well, that worked pretty well. And then I started exploring, well, what if I have them really saying the question in a sense, with sentence completion? Like, well, one of the things I'm afraid of is, and so they're just present, they're breathing, they're curious, but in that openness, they begin to explore what's truly in their feelings, what's really, what is it that they're at the effect of? And it's amazing to watch the wisdom that comes through. They know, they understand. It's just that they've ignored that part of themselves, and lots of times reasonably so, because they didn't know what to do with it. So why bring it out? But the truth is, any time you're struggling in life, whatever you're struggling with, if you're feeling emotional, those are really nothing but indicators that there's a part of you that's ready to be healed. And if you can breathe in, and of course you learn how to do this in that work, you breathe into it, acknowledge and heal that aspect of yourself, you become more whole. That's how you become a whole person. And you're also accepting more of yourself. So in time, you become very unconditionally accepting, unconditionally loving yourself. And all of a sudden, gee, when those things come up, they aren't things that you go, oh my God, I don't want to look at that. They're things that you embrace and accept and recognize will only enhance your life as you become, even more fully embracing all of who and what you are.
Self love has an awful lot of negative connotations out in the world. What is it that happens when you truly do love yourself, really?
I had this bull of a guy. Just after COVID started, he rented a cabin on the island that I live in, and he's going to work with me for a couple months from that. And so we went through all the COVID preparation stuff. But first sentence when I walk in says, "In this love stuff, I don't love myself, and I'm doing fine." Oh my God, here we go. He's just this real, bullish kind of top-down, controlling leader guy, and very successful. And I, of course, was smart enough to smile and not say anything. But within a month, he had fallen in love with himself. It, the love of his life who had left him, they started reconnecting. They ended up getting married, and really, really tremendously, great couple. But it's really a matter of, rather than denying all those aspects of yourself, rather than ignoring all those things that you're at the effect of subconsciously and consciously, you become the master of your own mind. And in that mastery, you become, you quite literally, rather than the amygdala, the emotional center that runs most people's mind, your forebrain begins to develop, because as you go through this work, your brain literally becomes quieter, more focused, more curious. And that allows that forebrain to begin to blossom. It's always there. It's always ready to be the conscious CEO of your life that it's meant to be. But it's not until you quiet and get more focused that it can really, you know, blossom in that way. And as it does, it allows you to neurologically rewire your brain so that you see things completely differently. And that's your level of consciousness. Really, back to that, determines that. It's your level of consciousness determines how you see, experience, and respond to everything that comes into your life. So if I'm fearful or shut down or hiding parts of myself, then I'm going to respond to things from that disconnected place. Where if I'm open and healed and seeing rather than seeing challenges, I'm seeing opportunities. So this fellow that I was talking about, really, he ended up redesigning. I mean, starting within a month or two, he was redesigning his whole organ. He's got 5 9-figure organizations, and he's redesigning them all. And within a year, 3 of them had more than doubled their value. And
Who? Okay,
that's
wait,
a lot
wait.
of value in that.
5 9-figure businesses, and 3 of them had doubled within how much time?
Within a year. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I don't even see how one person could run one of those, let alone more
Well,
than one.
that's what was driving him nuts. He was trying to micromanage all 5 of them. He ended up sending me several of his people who then became the CEOs of those. And he ended up really, it was so amazing to watch because very creative, smart guy. He just ended up had enough time finally that he could take a look at, oh, well, what do I really want to be doing? Who do I want to be? What do I want my life to look like? And he had this big ranch, and he was like, yeah, maybe I'll just do that. And but he started, there was one aspect of one of his businesses he started getting curious about and interested in developing. And what was amazing to me is within about probably 2 years, it's easy to see how that one little aspect of one of his businesses is now going to be earning more than all 5 of his businesses because of what he was able to do with it. And I see that, my first book is Overscheduled by Success. And I wrote that because I saw extraordinarily successful people really just repeating what they've always been doing to maintain the success that they've experienced before. And of course, that doesn't work. They always run into that ceiling where they have to make some sort of significant shift. But what happens is then they start to look at, well, what's my dream project that I've always wanted to do? What's this, what really stimulates me and really inspires me in life? And that, of course, they've developed the leadership abilities of everybody within their organization. So they're really, for the most part, taking care of themselves. And that gives them that time to really focus into that more specific aspect of the work that they enjoy and develop that to whatever degree they wish to. So, falling in love with yourself is falling in love with life. Falling in love with yourself is allowing all of who and what you're capable of being to participate in creating the life that you dream of.
So falling in love with yourself also makes you want to do things for other people too. It's like it just kind of outflows.
I see it every time. People, the initial work is about themselves and they're focused on themselves. But as they become more self aware, as they become more emotionally intelligent, they also recognize the emotions of others. They become more compassionate, empathetic with others. And that, of course, allows others to trust them more and they become more, you know, capable of their own, they're developing their own ability to lead within their organization. And so all of a sudden you have everybody moving in the same direction. Everybody excited about what they're doing. They feel like they're part of something of value and importance, and they really end up committing their all. I have so many people give me a call and they go, well, how do I get more out of my employees? It's like, empower them, let them know that they're a valued part of the team and that what we're doing is exciting. Even if you're just making a widget, how do you, yes, we only make that widget, but how, with our profits, how do we contribute to the world around us? There's one large organization in San Francisco that started contributing to the homeless in their area, really dramatically changing the environment that they lived in. Everybody was complaining about it. And it's like, oh, well, now we're doing something about it. So everybody in the organization was excited about that, especially because they could see the results, within months. I mean, it happened right away. So, if you really want to quit wishing things were different and, want to start actually doing what it takes to become that difference and create the life that you truly want, then then yeah, enjoy that journey, that inner journey where you truly become more self-aware, more empowered, more successful, more emotionally intelligent, more able to love, more able to live.
And healthier.
Oh, dramatically so. Yeah.
Because what does stress do to the human body?
Well, it cuts, literally it cuts down the brain's ability to function. So you really don't see the opportunities in things. Everything is a challenge because you're dysfunctional, but you're also, imagine breathing is what really keeps this whole engine going. That's what connects us to the world around us. We're taking in that oxygen, expressing that carbon dioxide. The trees are taking that in and expressing the oxygen, and we take that in. So it connects us to everything. But that breathing, rather than having that emotional backlog have us literally suffocating ourselves, not breathing fully, not taking care of ourselves, we begin to breathe. And that allows more oxygenated blood to be going to every cell in the body. And that, of course, increases the health level in all aspects of our life. So the brain is not only neurologically being inspired and rewired, it's your body, on every cell of your body is now being enhanced. And of course, as you come from that place of, of, of passion and interest in life, you become more successful, you become more confident. You're enjoying life, not from a cocky place, but from a place of really compassion and curiosity and enjoyment in life.
Very cool. So, what makes you uniquely? I mean, you came up with this. Like, this is not something I've ever heard of, and I am a self-development junkie. I mean, I like, hi, my name is Kara, and I'm a self-development junkie. Never heard of anything like this. What made you uniquely qualified to come up with this and implement it?
Well, we could say this in several different ways, but I was basically the all-American kid. I was, you know, my girlfriend was this total cutie, and she'd been Miss Teenage California, I think it was, and I was a rowing championship champion in the first year of college. So I was like, okay, this is what life's about. This is cool. But then I slipped into the Marine Corps during the Vietnam era and saw that it was completely, that I didn't understand a great deal of what life's about, and it left me really broken. I, I'd lost several dozen close friends in Vietnam, and I had a lot of guilt and shame and just, that loss. And of course, I had no idea how to deal with any of it, so I just shoved it down. So in my early 20s, I became suicidal. I didn't know what I was the effect of. I didn't understand what to do, and there was nobody, that was out there like myself, able to help. And so, I did try and commit suicide, and fortunately, there was a miraculous experience that happened in the midst of that gave me insight into the purpose of life, the importance of my life, and I took that insight and began my inner journey. And really, I started at a little cabin with a wood stove and on an island in Washington, and learn to breathe, learn to be present, learn to be more conscious. And then I went in and got my degrees and started. I've had really the privilege of working with the most amazing teachers I could have ever run into. I mean, it's from Buckminster Fuller to Joseph Campbell and John Gray, and just so many that people I've worked with or co-created with. And so I think, the truth is I, I was co-director of Brain Integration Center, and so we were kind of on the leading edge, and so everybody was coming to us, and I was taking all these trainings that cost a fortune at that time, but I was taking them for free, and then we would co-create classes together. So, did I create it on my own? I couldn't say, because back then everybody was borrowing from anybody. Nobody was taking ownership for anything, and rightfully so, because we're all co-creating together. And it was a very inspiring time. And so When I look back, at most of what I have, it's like I can only identify where I got a couple of the tools, but most of it is like, did I create that? Did I borrow that? Did I modify that?
Did that come from Big Mind?
Well, and certainly that's big mind for me is that place where I sit quietly and with a challenge, and the solution comes to me without thinking, and that certainly allows me to access some higher levels of wisdom that otherwise wouldn't be available to us. And that comes from I'd probably meditated at least 30,000, 35,000 hours by the time I was 40. And being able to go into that absolute silence and be that present and conscious and aware allows you to access wisdom. It doesn't mean I'm wise. It just means that wisdom is available to any and all of us who are willing to move into that place and be present enough to access it.
Powerful stuff. Very, very powerful stuff. So someone can join in for the 4 hours, and after it's actually an hour, and then we'll stay on for
Mhm.
questions and
Sure.
answers and
Yeah.
that kind of
We want
stuff.
them to
If
be comfortable. Right. Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
and so at the end of that, then they can do a discovery call. And what does that look like?
Discovery call is really them coming to me with, well, this is my biggest challenge, and this is my dream come true. And that's really looking at, well, what's that? What's the distance between those two? What needs to be handled so that you can, move beyond those challenges and really create that dream? And then it's their choice. Do you want to move forward and actually do that, or is that enough? And so, yeah, there's certainly no pressure. It's not about sales. It's about helping people understand the opportunities that are within themselves and what they're capable of. And so this is really, an initial class to make it safe, to make it comfortable, to explore looking more deeply within yourself without a commitment, without any, you know, fear of, oh God, if I do this, then it's like, no, have fun, learn about yourself, discover some tools that are going to be useful for the rest of your life, and then we'll see what you want to do. For me, it's a journey. Some people want to journey, this far, and others want to journey that far, and that's fine. Whatever level you want to play on is fine with me, and I'll support you and guide you as much as I can.
And guys, I got to tell you that no matter what level you decide you want to play on, coming to this will, I promise you, it will make your life better, and it will make your relationships better. It will make you a more enjoyable person to be around. That's just the reality of it. And you will find out things will come out of your mouth. I'm not kidding you. Things will come out of your mouth that you won't doubt at all, that you would have sworn it was the other way. And it's just so freeing. It's really it just is so freeing. And I can't thank you enough. I know I thank you an awful lot, and it probably you probably are like, I get it, you appreciate it. But I can't thank you enough, because guys, I want you to understand that since 1990 I have probably read at least 1,000 books on self-development, personal development, your brain, health, all these things to try and make my life better, and they all worked. And I did have a great life when we met. I had already a really pretty great life. Nothing compared to what it feels like now, 6 months later. And I appreciate that you're doing this, because I know you don't have to, but I appreciate that you still are, for people like me who didn't get in before now.
Yeah. Well, most people are driving down the freeway of life with their foot on the gas, but also 50% of their energy pressing on the brake and holding them back from enjoying that journey. And so our job is really to support people in recognizing how they're limiting and holding themselves back, taking that foot off the brake so they can comfortably move forward. You don't have to accelerate more. You're already pushing down on the gas as hard as you can. So just, yeah, it's just a matter of getting things out of the way that are in your head, that are in your being, that don't support you in creating the life that you want.
It's really good stuff. I appreciate it so much. So for the people that are listening to this and haven't seen the other, that we're coming into 2 weeks, what one thing should they be doing between now and then that will enhance their lives right now?
I would just suggest watch yourself and notice when you're breathing, when you're not. And if you're not breathing, then choose to breathe in. Just pay attention and think to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, and see where that takes you, because it's going to take you more deeply into whatever it is you're struggling with, whatever you're trying to hold out. And what you're going to find is when you get to the bottom of that, it's really insignificant and healable. And like, why am I at the effect of something that happened when I was 3 years old, when I can heal that and move forward and enjoy my life?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Well, Dr. Ron, thank you so much for giving us your time again and your wisdom, and looking forward to doing these classes.
All right. Well, welcome
Thank you.
everybody to come. Thanks. Bye bye.